Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. So it is launch day of a new raid up hero banner, Isabella's banner. And now, should you recruit for her or is it better for you to wait and see? That is what we're going to talk about in today's video. Now my overall opinion about Isabella is I definitely think she is an interesting buffer with also debuff applications from her exclusive skill. However, as of right now, she has not proven herself to be meta for anything, even on the VN server where they've had another 2 days of testing compared to what we have currently had. So what I would recommend is we need to wait and see for Isabella throughout the whole Dream Realm boss rotation, and most importantly, we want to see her in Nocturne Judicator, where most likely providing those great Frontmost ally buffs to that Midnight Hunter is probably going to make her a meta, at least for Nocturne Judicator, if not any other area. But for that, we also want to see, is she going to work at one copy, low copies? Because, you know, if she's only going to be depending on her ultimate for the major value she provides to that comp, she could potentially even work at low copies. However, looking at her kit in more detail, you do see definitely that if she can get up to Supreme Plus, that is going to be a meaningful upgrade because it will allow her to stack her spell notes more quickly, which will convert into more buffs more quickly on, like, basically at a greater frequency to that Frontmost ally. And also, I was paying attention to her exclusive skill. At first, I thought, you know, you wouldn't even need to upgrade this, maybe even past +5. However, if you really wanted to completely min-max it, assuming that she is in the top meta for Nocturne Judicator, you would even want the +15 ability because this is going to basically cause her debuffs onto the boss to be a higher amount, like 90% effectiveness to 100% effectiveness of her debuffs, which is a minor increase. And I think for the vast majority of players, even if she is meta in Nocturne Judicator, it wouldn't be a reason for her to like completely max her out. But for the whales or the people who always want to have the top score potential, then actually I'm thinking +15 may actually be necessary if she does turn out to be meta for Nocturne Judicator. So with my major thoughts covered, now I want to actually break down the other areas of the game mode and also future long term. Is Isabella going to be a hero that will have value onto your account? So the interesting thing about Isabella is this Frontmost ally buff, and the ally buffs are pretty big. However, the problem with this, it doesn't buff up anyone else in the team, only that Frontmost ally. And then number two, all of the meta team comps we have, even generally in PvP, is you do not have your hyper carry Frontmost because that will mean that they take too much aggro from the opponent if it's PvP. And in Dream Realm, you have other heroes which have rear tile buffs, whether it be Daemon, whether it be Pharamore, whether it be the twins. And so you can never actually get all of the buffs you want and then also facilitate Isabella. That is a major issue. The fact that, you know, if this buff effect was, for example, one tile in front of Isabella, I think she would be a broken hero. So I think the devs probably know what they're doing by making it Frontmost because that really constrains your positioning. But like, as long as the twins are meta, Daemon, Pharamore as buffers are meta, it's really going to be difficult to actually use Isabella effectively in a team comp for Dream Realm content, other than if you're forced to just have your hyper carry at the Frontmost tile, which is like in Nocturne Judicator, where you have your Midnight Hunter, who's all your form of damage, and then Isabella is perfectly made for that. But for every other content, is like, it doesn't really fit well into the team. For PvP, I think she is going to be interesting, but the major problem I have with her in PvP is her survival. She doesn't have great survival. There's no ability, which is basically going to protect herself, other than the fact that she can debuff enemies after the enemies deal a certain amount of damage to her Frontmost companion. But if they just bypass that Frontmost companion, if they jump into the backline, whether it be Athalia, whether it be Sylvina, whether it be any other hero which can just target AoE damage onto the entire enemy team, she's probably going to die pretty quickly. So that's my biggest problem with Isabella. I don't know how you're going to protect her effectively enough to actually allow her to begin cycling her ultimates where she gets a lot of her buff value and then all of her debuff value. Her debuff value from exclusive skill. Look, when she casts ultimate, this is completely tied to her ultimate. So her exclusive skill and her ultimate, which are a major form of her buffing and then also debuffing, they're completely related to energy. She has 0 pre-fill energy. She doesn't have great survival. She's probably going to die before casting an ultimate in PvP. So that's basically the issue. However, this Hexbridge skill is maybe her saving grace for PvP, because if you can have some Frontmost tank who is not going to go down easily and just draw all the aggro of the opponent, then you're going to have a pretty massive attack debuff onto them. If you read this here, it's an attack reduction inflicted by Isabella of 75% attack. 75% attack reduction that that lasts for 5 seconds whenever an enemy hero deals certain percentage of damage to her companion. That is very strong. Like this is something that we'll have to see in practice, but like I can definitely imagine a stall strategy that just has a tank just taking all the damage from the opponent, and then not only are you going to be dealing damage over time to them, but you're also going to massively attack debuff them, and then what are they really going to be able to do to you? They're going to have an even harder time of killing you. So this is basically her only saving grace, which is non-ultimate dependent, which is pretty essential. This is just some healing for the companion, and then assistance just elongates the duration of her buff effect, which again, she's not really going to be buffing anyone until she has her ultimate cast. Before her ultimate cast, there's not really a buff that she is providing to them, which is the problem. There's no buff that she provides up until she can cast her ultimate. But there is the debuff that she can provide from the Hex Word. So like maybe there's some PvP applications with this, but I don't know. I'm a little bit doubtful for PvP. And like for Dream On, we've talked about it, is that it's just too awkward to actually fit her into comp other than Midnight Hunter and Nocturne Adjudicator. However, as time goes on in the future, if there becomes some other great frontline carry that can really synergize with Isabella, that is going to be strong. We also know Perseus is a hero which loves to be buffed, and he could even function as a frontmost hero. But the problem is, Perseus is a PvP hero. Perseus is not great for Dream Realm. Like, he just cannot compete on terms of damage output. And so with Isabella in there, I still don't think they're going to compete on damage output front. We have already much better damage heroes like Shimira that like he has to somehow overthrow, which he is not able to do. So like Isabella Perseus combo, is it just reserved for PvP? And then again, it's the same PvP issues we talked about, which is that yeah, she can get great value onto Perseus after casting her ultimate, but like when is she going to be able to cast her ultimate? So then there are other things that people are thinking, what if you Pandora the Isabella, put her in the Pandora box, and she comes out 4 seconds into the match, cast her ultimate onto her frontline Perseus? Definitely there are ideas, and these are things which are interesting. However, it does seem very niche, right, for this to be her major role. And even then, Pandora is a hero which you want to be using on multiple heroes. There's so many good targets for Pandora. So like you cannot, like, you know, if Isabella relies on a Pandora type strategy only to function, unless that comp is just insanely strong, it's just not going to be as good of an option as just, you know, running heroes which do not depend so heavily on one other hero, like another piece, to actually work. So that is Isabella. I think when we talk about, though, going forward, I think everyone should wish this Isabella, even if you don't recruit her now. And if she is good in Nocturne Adjudicator, and if she's functioning at 1 copy or low copies, I would recommend everyone probably pull for just like that initial hit of her off the banner. But then I think everyone should wish this to her, because I don't know what's going to happen in Ravaged Realm, especially Ravaged Realm. Sometimes you can have heroes in the Graveborn squad where you do have like a Pandora up in the front, a Ludovic up in the front, and Isabella can further buff up that hero who's a great HP loss damage deal for Ravaged Realm and actually be in a top team. I think for Ravaged Realm, it's probably pretty likely that Isabella is going to be top, because of course there's no twins in the Graveborn Ravaged Realm. Twins are in the Sylvan squad Ravaged Realm. So like if twins were not existing in the game, Isabella would have more potential usage, even though she probably still wouldn't be top tier meta. But like with twins in there, you're just always running twins buffing up your carry, and then Isabella can never possibly also buff that ally because they will not be frontmost, because one of the twins would be frontmost. So that is basically the thing. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it's helpful. Let me know your thoughts about Isabella in the comment section. For the higher spenders, I think you can safely upgrade her to Supreme Plus. I think that she will probably be good for Nocturne Adjudicator and also Ravaged Realm, very likely. For the lower spenders, the free-to-play, I think you definitely need to wait and see. Probably don't even get one hit off the banner right now. Just save it all. Unless, of course, you have the pre-order bundle pack and you have the 40 rate-up tickets, and just get the one hit of Isabella and get it over with, because you'll do it anyway. But like if you don't have that and you are thinking, should you even get that one copy or one hit off the banner, we need to wait and see for Nocturne Adjudicator, and we need proof that she's working at low copies. If that is the case, then basically definitely get those at least one hit off the banner. And we'll have to see the score difference. How big will the score difference be between Supreme Plus versus 1 copy Isabella or low copies Isabella? What is going to be the score gap? If the score gap is huge, then maybe you can even consider getting some more copies. But honestly, I think for free-to-play light spenders, it's basically going to be at most one hit off the banner, and then put her in your wish list and over time get her. Because the Graveborns, yes, there are good targets for the wish list, like Bonnie, Nero now, because Nero has become very strong in PvP with the Supreme Plus skill upgrade. But then Isabella is going to be basically your third priority. Other than Nero and Bonnie, there's not really any major hero you want for the Graveborn A levels. Callan is just very PvP exclusive, and honestly now Callan has a bit fallen out of the meta. So Isabella probably would be your third priority for the wish list, if not maybe even the second. I don't know, because Nero has no Dream Realm application. Nero is purely a PvP hero, but he is very effective at that. And yeah, so anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts about Isabella in the comment section. Have you already recruited for her? Are you planning to recruit for her? Are you gonna wait and see? How long are you going to wait for? Are you going to wait for Nocturne Judicator? Are you going to wait longer than that? Let me know. That is always interesting to hear. But thanks for watching. If you guys are not already a member of my AFK Journey Discord server, please join that. There's a link to that in the description of this video. We talk about everything related to AFK Journey there. Also, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Firelight store. There is a link to that in the description of this video and a pinned comment. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus Dragon Crystals on your purchase. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.